You keep your dining table empty? In feng shui, that's not clean. That's a money leak. So, when was the last time you actually looked at your dining table? Not just passed by it, or dropped your keys on it, but really noticed what's on it? Because here's the thing, feng shui doesn't care if your table looks clean. It cares if it feels alive. And a bare table? That's not minimalist. That's a signal. To your house, to your energy, to your money. Before we begin, take a second and think, what energy is your dining table holding right now? A half-eaten apple? A pile of unopened mail? Or nothing at all? If this topic hits a nerve, you'll want to stay till the end, because we're walking through 5 powerful objects that could either lock in your wealth flow or quietly drain it. And if you've been following our Feng Shui Red Flags series, you know, it's never just about what you see. It's what the energy remembers. Ever left a red envelope or lucky coin on your table, then cleaned it up the next morning? Most people think they're just clutter. But in Feng Shui, they're energy anchors. You didn't just clear the table, you cleared out the wealth. You know that moment, right after dinner, when you're feeling a little tired and just want the house to look clean again? So you wipe down the table, put away the dishes, and quietly scoop up everything that's left. Even that tiny red envelope you placed for luck last week. You probably didn't even think about it. It just felt in the way. But oh, that's exactly where the mistake begins. In Feng Shui, your dining table isn't just a surface. It's a platform, a place where energy gathers. And when you completely clear it, night after night, with nothing left behind, not even a small coin or a humble intention, you're saying to your home, this space doesn't need to hold anything. Not energy, not abundance, not even a wish. And gosh, we do this automatically, so naturally, because it looks clean, right? But here's the tricky part. A perfectly empty table might look beautiful, but it feels hollow. It lacks memory. It lacks magnetism. Especially when you're wiping away those small, symbolic items, the little things Grandma used to leave around, or that red envelope your aunt gave you, just in case it brings luck. Those tiny pieces? They're like spiritual post-it notes. Reminders to the space that money is still welcome. And when we throw them in a drawer, well, we also tuck our flow away with them. What happens next? The room feels fine. But over time, money stops feeling invited. You start noticing bills stacking up, clients ghosting, delayed payments, not because something went wrong, but because nothing was held. Here's what to do. Place a red envelope your 3 clean coins in a small dish at the center of your dining table. Doesn't need to be fancy, but place it with care. Let that be your symbol of wealth flow. Leave it overnight. Let your space remember that money is welcome. A woman wrote to me once. She had a habit of clearing her table spotless every night. Then she watched one of our videos and left a red envelope on a little wooden plate. The next week, out of nowhere, her old Etsy store got 3 large orders. She said, "It felt like money finally found its way back to me." You're not just placing paper. You're creating a signal that this table holds abundance. That money belongs here, and it listens. Not all clutter is bad. Some of it protects your flow. Now, let's talk about something even more subtle. The power of a tiny flame. Ever noticed how a room feels warmer just because one small candle is lit? In feng shui, it's not just about light. It's about life force. A table without fire slowly forgets how to receive. So many of us eat, scroll, and go. We finish a meal, turn off the overhead light, and the whole space sinks into quiet dimness. No spark, no glow, no energy to hold a wish. And gosh, especially in winter, or after a long day, that cold table just sits there, heavy, like it's waiting for something. And sadly, it waits in vain, because we forgot the flame. Even the tiniest candelone you bought from Target 3 years ago could have whispered, "Money's still welcome here." Without fire, the table becomes passive. It holds no yang energy, and that means no action, no invitation, no momentum. Bills feel heavier. Motivation dips. Ideas stall. Not because life's bad, because nothing's burning. So, here's a little shift you can try. Something so small, but oh, it changes everything. Tonight, after dinner, don't just walk away. Take one simple candle. Any candle. Even that tiny vanilla one sitting at the back of your drawer. Dust it off. Place it gently in the center of your table. Not on the side, not in the corner. Right in the heart of it. And light it, slowly. Watch how the flame flickers at first. Then stand still like it knows it has a job to do. Because it does. In feng shui, a candle isn't just fire. It's a call for movement, for clarity, for wealth to know it's still invited. You don't need to say a mantra. You don't need a special ritual. Just let the candle burn quietly while you finish the dishes, or while you sip tea before bed. And here's the part most people miss. It's not about light. It's about warmth. You're telling the house, this table isn't closed. This family isn't finished. This home is still alive. And the best part? You'll start to feel it. That tiny flicker lighting something in you, too. A friend of mine used to leave her table dark every night. Then one day, during a tough season, she lit a tea light just for company. And the next day, her inbox had 2 unexpected payments. She laughed and said, "I didn't manifest anything. I just let the house remember I was still here." From that night on, she never left the table cold again. Because when fire returns, movement does too. Energy doesn't knock on a dark door. Let's move on. Because there's one element most people leave half empty every single day. Ever sat at a table and realized there wasn't even a glass of water nearby? In feng shui, water equals flow. And if your table holds no water, it's quietly holding lack. Let's be honest. A lot of us don't leave water on the dining table. We finish dinner, take the glasses to the sink, maybe leave behind a napkin or 2. But the pitcher? That goes back in the fridge, every time. And gosh, without even noticing, our table starts to feel dry. Still, like it's been paused. Nothing moving, nothing fresh. That's the tricky part. When there's no visible water, your space starts forgetting what flow feels like. Your energy slowly mirrors it. Delayed money, stagnant moods, that constant feeling of, why isn't anything moving forward? It's subtle, but wow, it builds. Over time, this pause turns into a pattern. Ideas don't land. Opportunities pass by. Even conversations at the table feel shorter, less alive. You're not just missing hydration. you're missing the symbol of movement. So tonight, after dinner pause, and place a clean glass water pitcher right in the middle of the table. It doesn't have to be full, but at least halfway. Just enough to say, this house still flows. Add a slice of lemon if you want, or a sprig of mint. Make it beautiful, but make it yours. Let the light catch the water. Let the space reflect it back. Just that sight alone can shift the whole mood. And when guests come over, they'll feel it too. Like something here is fresh, alive, moving. One woman told me she started doing this after watching a fengshui reel. She said her kitchen was always neat, but her table always dry. So she placed a tall glass pitcher with cool water every night. Nothing fancy. After a week, she noticed her sleep felt deeper, and that check she'd been waiting on for months finally arrived. She said, "I didn't do anything, except keep the water where the flow belongs." Since then, she never lets her table go dry, because now her space doesn't just look better, it feels like movement. Where water sits, energy moves. Now let's talk about something even more forgotten. The food that's meant to be left behind. Ever walked past your dining table and it just felt kinda cold? It's not about temperature. It's about nourishment. A table without food symbols becomes energetically starved. Let's be real. So many of us have dining tables that look spotless, wiped down, decoratively empty, sometimes with a candle or two if we're feeling aesthetic. But when was the last time it looked alive? Think about it. No fruit, no bread, no signs of warmth or nourishment. Just cold wood and maybe a dusty placemat. And visually, it feels neat. But energetically, it feels hollow, lonely, like a room that forgot its purpose. We've been taught that food should stay in the kitchen, or be hidden in the fridge, or kept away unless it's mealtime. So we take the apples off. We pack the bread away. We leave the table bare day after day, not realizing that we're stripping the space of one of its most powerful signals. In feng shui, your table isn't just a place to eat. It's a symbol of receiving. It's the heart of nourishment, both physical and energetic. And when we consistently keep it empty, when we hide the fruit or avoid the bread because it doesn't match the decor, we're not just being tidy. We're removing the image of abundance. And that's heavy, because your space starts reflecting it back. Dinners feel dull, conversations grow shorter, and deep down, something feels missing. Even if you can't quite name it, without that soft loaf of bread, or that bright orange or apple, the table feels cold, unwelcoming. You might notice meals feel rushed. You stop sitting there altogether. And quietly, money flow starts to feel the same. Dry, interrupted, uninvited. Okay, so here's a little thing you can do. And honestly, it's so simple. It almost feels silly. But it works. Tonight, before you turn off the kitchen lights, go grab a piece of fruit. Any fruit. A shiny red apple, a soft, slightly speckled banana, even a handful of grapes in a chipped little bowl. Place it right at the center of your table. Not on the edge, not behind your laptop. Right there like it belongs, because it does. And if you have a slice of bread, even better. Set it gently on a wooden plate or a folded napkin. Make it look intentional. It doesn't need to look perfect. It just needs to look loved. Let the space breathe with it. Let your home remember. This is a place where people are fed, where life happens, where money should flow through with ease. You don't have to explain it to anyone. You don't need to call it feng shui. Just try it for a few nights. Walk past your table and feel that little spark, like something is being offered, like the house is ready again. And who knows, maybe your bank account starts feeling less dry, too. There's this older woman I met once. She always kept a bowl of green apples on her table. She said, "Even when I had no money, I never let my table go hungry." She didn't have a word for feng shui. She just knew that her house felt better when the table looked fed. And somehow, her luck always returned. Now I tell people, don't wait for a good day to start placing fruit. Place fruit, so good days find you. Abundance isn't loud. Sometimes it just looks like a pear in a bowl. Let's move to one last item, often overlooked, but deeply magnetic. Ever walked into a room and just paused because one tiny detail felt magical? That's not an accident. In feng shui, beauty is an energetic invitation. A table without it feels mute. It doesn't know how to attract anymore. We often think beauty is optional, something we add when guests are coming, or when we're in the mood. But oof, when your table goes weeks without a fresh flower, or months without anything that sparkles gently in the light, you're missing out on the magnetism. Because here's the truth. Your dining table isn't just about food or fire. It's also about vibration. That little joy when you see a daisy in a jam jar. That soft pull when a small crystal catches the morning sun. And when that element is gone, so is the lift. So is the draw. So is the tiny reminder that life can be soft and sacred. You might notice the space feels flat. Not heavy, just dull. It's harder to feel inspired. You avoid sitting there. Or worse, you stop noticing it at all. Without beauty, wealth flow becomes purely practical. And that never lasts. Try this simple reset. Next time you pass by a grocery store, pick up a $3 buketees, even the tiny one. Place one flower, just one, in a glass jar. Let it sit gently at the edge of your fruit bowl. Let it exist. Or if you're not into flowers, choose a small crystal you already have. Amethyst, citrine, rose quartz. Place it where the light hits in the morning. Let the beauty do its job. Let the table remember what it means to glow. It's not about making it look expensive. It's about making it feel blessed. A woman once emailed me after trying this. She placed one pink carnation in a cup beside her leftover apples. She said, "I didn't even know I missed beauty," until the room exhaled. That same week, she got a new job offer. No interview, no application, just a call out of the blue. And all she did was add something beautiful back to her table. Now she always keeps one fresh flower on her table. Not for the job, but because it made her feel abundant before abundance showed up. Beauty softens the space so wealth can walk in. Now that we've reset your table, let's wrap up with 3 small things you can do tonight. 1. Put a fruit bowl back on your table. Even just 2 oranges in a chipped ceramic dish. Don't overthink it. Let it sit there, like it belongs. Because it does. You just told the room, we're still receiving. 2. Light a candle before bed. Not for scent, not for romance, just for presence. Even a cheap tea light can whisper to your home, this family still burns with life. Let the flame do its quiet job. 3. Add one beautiful thing. A flower in a coffee cup. A crystal by the salt shaker. Something soft. Something unnecessary. Because that's where magic always begins. So hey, next time you walk past your dining table, pause and just look. Not to judge, not to clean, just to ask, does this space still speak wealth? Sometimes money doesn't show up in our bank account first. It shows up in how your home feels at 7:47 p.m. It shows up in how the light hits a glass of water. It shows up in a peach left on the table, still waiting to be shared. If this video stirred something in you, I'd love to hear it. Maybe drop a or B in the comments. If you're resetting your table tonight, and hey, if this felt different than your usual feng shui advice, that's because this isn't just feng shui. It's home chi work. For women who know money begins in the ordinary. 10. So stick around. There's more in the Feng Shui Red Flags playlist. And the next one might just be the one your house has been waiting for.